What is culture? And what does it have to do with decisions and choices that people make, especially decisions that our elderly parents are making about the place where they would like to age? So as a social anthropologist, my understanding of culture is that it's a way of life as lived by a group of people in a specific area and also during a specific period in history. And when we talk about a time in history, it's very important when it comes to looking at our elderly parents, because these are people who were born between the 1920s and 1950s. So when we look at this period in history, and we also now look at where our parents were born, where they were brought up, what type of practices within their families and within the community. So taking all these factors into consideration, what we are seeing is that there are children who are now in midlife. They are career people. They are pursuing careers in cities and even abroad. And what's happening is that they are inviting their parents to go and live with them, but their parents are turning down this offer. Today I'm going to talk about this issue, the cultural background, the cultural heritage of our elderly parents, to help you understand why they are making this choice and why they are making this decision to age in their rural homes, in their rural villages. So welcome, and thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, I'm Eileen. I usually come here to talk about remote caregiving. I draw most of the information that I share here from experience because I've been a caregiver to my elderly parents in person and also remotely doing it from 13,000 kilometers away. If you're an immigrant, if you're in your midlife and you keep on wondering what you're going to sacrifice, if you're going to travel home to be able to take care of your elderly parents, or if you're going to stay in the city where you are or abroad so that you can continue to pursue your career, I'm here to tell you that you can achieve both. Provide care to your elderly parent from a distance while you continue to pursue your careers. So with that, let's get on with today's session. So what is it about this place that we call home? This place that where our elderly parents would like to spend their time, would like to age in? What is it about this place that makes it a home, especially for our parents, our elderly parents? It takes us back to the whole idea of sense of place and place attachment. What makes human beings to have attachment to a specific place? And in this case, we are looking at rural homes, rural areas where our parents call home. The people who are now our elderly parents and our grandparents, they were born from the 1930s, and we are very grateful that they've been able to live that long, to be with us that long. They grew up in these rural areas. And even the daughters who got married out, traditionally they were not married too far. It was usually a place where the relatives could walk to whenever they needed to visit, which means that growing up, these people participated in life within their families. Even before they got married, growing up as children, they participated, for example, in fetching water from rivers, which means that they know very well the paths leading to where they used to go and fetch water. As young people, they are the ones who went to fetch firewood to use for cooking, fetched water. If they were young men, they took livestock out to go and feed. These are the same people who worked on family farms to be able to grow food for the rest of their family, which means that over time, they learned to like this place, the place that they were calling home. And even for the daughters who got married out of their parents' home, whenever they were married to, once they were there were ways to integrate them into their new extended family. So that, again, some of them continued with the life of fetching water, fetching firewood, working on the farm, which means that they learned about now a second environment, a second landscape in that once your daily life involves traveling around short distances, maybe going to the river, going to that hill, going beyond that hill to go and greet a relative or to go to the market, then over time they now got very attached to their new home. That's for the daughters who got married out of their home. They got used to the home of their husbands. They got used to living with their in-laws and their extended family, because in the majority of African rural homes, it's that your neighbors are mostly your blood relatives, because the way land is allocated, it's inherited from father to son. So that what you find is that the sons get land, they marry. Now you live close by with your cousins. Your children get married. They now live close to their grandparents, to their uncles, to their cousins, and it keeps on expanding, so that at the end of the day, an African village is mainly an area for people who are related by blood or by marriage. So that now when we look at that and we look at our elderly parents and our grandparents, then what it means is that this place that they call home is a place populated by people that they know, people that they've known since their childhood. Because if they were not married far, it means that now they know people from their maiden home, and they also know people in the home where they got married to. Can you imagine the number of people, the number of relatives that this individual ends up knowing by having lived within a village, having lived in that place they call home? Yes, as we move on, we are continuing to see what this place means to these people. And if I can just mention the issue of social relations and community. If these people are related to a whole village, or even if they are not related to the whole village, but they have a certain relationship with people within this village, they know that's the home of so-and-so, that is the home of so-and-so, this is how we are related with this person. This person is our relative this way. They are our cousin, they are our auntie, they are our grandparent, they are our in-laws. And having been brought up within that village or that setup, they know how to relate with these people. And these people, they know how to relate with our elderly parent, especially as you grow older within a village, because we talked about rites of passage. For both men and women, what I know is that women gain a lot of respect as they grow older, as they become mothers, because there is respect that you get because of age. Then there is an added respect that you get when you become a mother. And within the traditional setup, there is a certain respect that you get when you are a mother of daughters and sons. Then there is more respect that you get from within the community and the extended family when you become a grandparent. So these people that we are asking to leave the village, they already have powers within that place they call home, where we are trying to get them out of. And you know, when you are asking them to move to the city and you are like, oh, mom, oh, dad, we have enough space. We have a separate unit where you'll come and live. Even if you want to cook for yourself, we can give you food. You can do that. Come and stay with us so that you are able to visit your doctor nearby, you know, instead of traveling to back and forth to come and see your doctor here. Come and stay with us. As we are doing this, we now need to reflect on pulling this person out of this rural area means we are denying them their established social relations, and also we are pulling them from a structured social setup where they are already playing a very important role, because as I mentioned, they get roles as once they become mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers. Then once we pull them out of that, it means that we are breaking the social setup within the rural area. Are we ready to do that? Maybe not. And that's why I keep on encouraging people that can we find ways to make these rural homes comfortable places where our elderly parents, grandparents can continue to live, because what literature is showing us, which I'll be coming back to in future episodes, it's that there are benefits whenever people age in place. There are benefits which will help them, enable them to lead a more meaningful and fulfilled life. And if part of this benefit involves the social relations, then if we move these people out of this rural setup, do we have the same in cities or in our homes for them? Because again, as we've seen, these are relations that they've grown, they've established over a lifetime. So these are some of the issues that we really need to critically think about as we try to convince our elderly parents or our grandparents to move out of their rural home. Continuing with the issue of sense of place and place attachment, I would like to say something about the rural setting. As we've just seen, this is a place, an environment that our elderly parents have grown in, which means that they know the place quite well. Whenever they want to go to the local market or to their local town, or to go and get a certain service, even if it's a service that is provided by government, what you find is that because they know the area so well, if you talk about the local chief or the local member of parliament, these people will be knowing where to find this person in their office or even in their home, because they know these are the sons and daughters of so and so. And even when it comes to visiting places like local markets or even shops to go and buy whatever they will need in the home, or even going to the local hospital, for our elderly parents, they are not going to resort to Google Maps or to use a GPS to get to that place the way some of us now do in the towns where we live, in the urban areas where we live, that to get a certain service, we are going to go to our phones and be like, oh, what's the location of this office? Our elderly parents don't need to do that because they know the place quite well. If they have this very strong attachment and sense of place to these places, and for us as their children, their grandchildren, if we are trying to make them lead a comfortable and healthy life. And I guess what we are seeing from the above discussion is that these places hold a lot of memory. And what we can do is to make the rural homes comfortable enough so that our parents can live there, because by living there, they'll be having a very big social network. This is the place where they feel independent, they feel free enough to walk around, to do things within their house. So now it's how do we make these places comfortable enough for them, so that rest assured, once our parents, our grandparents are comfortable in this place, and I can tell you from experience, once they are settled down, then you'll feel comfortable enough to travel back to the city or even overseas, abroad, and continue with your life. I guess by now you're in agreement with me that these homes, the rural homes, matter to our elderly parents, and it will be good for them to age in place, to age by continuing to live in these places so that they can have a healthy life, a meaningful life. So what are your thoughts this far? Do you think our elderly parents, our grandparents have a basis when they say that they would like to age in place? That's age within their home which is within a rural village. Do you think they have a basis for that? Please comment below and subscribe so that you can come along as we continue with this discussion. So come back, subscribe, and come back so that you can follow along in our journey. That's my journey with my siblings in making our rural home a comfortable place for our elderly parents. So for now, it's a goodbye from me, and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.